All right, welcome back to Big Board. So if you watch the second video of the series here that we're looking at, Ardennes II, the SCS title from Multi-Man Publishing, you'll realize I was probably a little frustrated with some of the rules, and I said I was going to set it aside for the time being until I got some clarification, because it's all brand new. And, there were questions that need to be answered. I had four main areas that I had concerns with or issues, and got all of those mostly resolved. I believe we're all in sync now, so I understand artillery a little more accurately. I also understand bouncing artillery a little more accurately and clearly. And there are a couple other things that were challenging for this little brain of mine to grok, and managed to get all those squared away. Really, what the biggest surprise, and I'll just get it off my chest now, out of the way. If it was any other game and any other game company and any other designer, I would probably not. I would probably not be very fussed about the sloppy, or what I would call sloppy or loose. Probably loose is probably a better word than sloppy. Loose wording of some of the rules and things in here, and some of the things that aren't really quite crystal clear. If it was any other company, I would be like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. But when it comes to a Dean Essig series design and the fact that he developed the game, I'm surprised that the looseness of the wording is in there, because he's usually so crisp and so tight and so perfect that you're like, oh, I can just pick it up and read it and play it straight away. But that didn't happen this time, so it's just a surprise. It made me sad. So anyway, here's the good news. So we're now in, turn 3, which is December 18th. And it's this scenario starts on turn 2. So we're doing the American turn, their second turn in the game, the 7.3 scenario. It's Piper's Kampf Group actions. And it's been pretty interesting, and I think I kind of get a feeling that the Germans are doing a little better than perhaps they may have done historically. I would have to go look that up specifically, but it's all about to come to a crashing halt because reinforcements are basically here. So as I'm finding, it's very, very difficult to get odds against these American battalions and regiments, because their defensive factors are so high. So initial action pushed 277th Feet Volksgrenadier and 12th SS in through this little axis here into, what's this, Krinkelt, this VP location right here. I'm not going to zoom in for you. Let's stay zoomed out for the moment. And then the other axis of advance was kind of along here, but then also I'd use this back trail here because there was a weak unit situated here in the setup. And so we pushed 1st SS and 277th Volksgrenadier in this way. Oh no, we didn't. We pushed 12th Volksgrenadier through this way, along with the 3rd FJ, right, the Fallschirmjäger. So they all kind of came in and around this way. I managed to meander the way down here around Elsenborn on turn 1, but really didn't do very much other than force the Americans to try to pull back a little bit to not all be out of supply. I have found another rule that I need to get some clarification on, and that's the consequence of being out of supply. I'm not sure where that is specifically, but I have not looked deeply. I've just literally skimmed before I jumped on this video. So we need to do a little bit more homework there. All right, so a couple of combats went down, some artillery went down, the new barraging rules all work basically. You have this concept of full barrages and half barrages. And then if it's a half barrage, I already mentioned this in one of the other videos, you've got to roll a die and see whether it becomes a full barrage or not, unless you have more than one half barrage, which then consolidates it into, or reconciles it into, one full barrage. And the barrage is on the hex, and it'll stay, its consequences stay in a given hex. So if I barrage this hex here, this unit moves out, the penalties that accrue to units in that hex will be for those units in that hex, not anywhere else. Now, so that's all well and good. And they're cumulative as well. If I have multiple barrages in a hex, we can actually end up being halved or quartered, as the case may be for defense or attack. Which is why it was so important here, last turn, trying to reconnect. I've got this DG marker here as an out of supply marker to remind me that he's out of supply, but now we've isolated this unit, and I looked to doing an attack here, but best odds I could get without using Artie was at 2-1, and just not going to do that. Not with 4 chances in 12 of that being a bad deal. No siree, and actually, in fact, it's 5 chances in 12 of being a bad deal. So we forestalled the attack there, but continued the pressure here, pushed this unit out of this little pocket. It was blocking this intersection down here. And we pushed this 2nd Infantry unit back as well, I believe, or maybe he retreated, I forget. Or maybe we eliminated a guy up here. So it's been not terribly bloody. There's 3 units off the map, and of course the German paratrooper dudes, or sneaky guys, whatever they're called, I forget their names, that start over here. They were eliminated this turn. That's because, as we zoom out, can we zoom out a little bit? No, we're all zoomed out all the way. All right, so we've now got 82nd Airborne in the game and 30th Infantry. And that's going to have a defense of 15. And this is 1st SS formation with the Tigers here, so they got 10. They got 13, so they'd be starting at a 1-2 attack, right? Just terrible. Which is where we need artillery. The artillery's way up out of screen, not going to be able to see it. We've got 1st Infantry powering in here to support this flank. So then it becomes, what can the Germans do? Can they keep Elsenborn? That'd pick up 2 VPs for them. Then probably not going to get Melmady, not going to knock that out. So can they now exit formations off the map? Can they fight their way through? I'm going to guess, even with more reinforcements, I think we get a couple of extra bits and pieces, and the 9th Panzer, 9th SS just came in. It's going to be hard. And in fact, this is one of the reasons why, generally speaking, with Bulge games, you know, it's all fun and games for like 2 turns, and then after that, it's kind of pointless, right? I don't see, unless your opponent makes massive mistakes, I just don't see the point. It's kind of like fighting, trying to take Moscow on the Eastern Front, or fighting any battle in 1944 on the Eastern Front. It's just overwhelming. And while you can look to try and do better, most games are going to stack it such that it's very difficult to achieve. But we're not going to give up on it. We're going to give it the old college try here, because I think we've done okay, but it's just okay with really piddly units. You can't probably see that because my lighting is terrible in here. What's going on? Let's see if we can move this light over here a little bit. Move that light over there a little bit. There we go. Yeah, so I've got, a combat factor of 1, a defensive 2. The fighting at a lighter weight than a formation from the 82nd Airborne. I mean, we're just going to get our asses kicked here as the Germans, and the Yanks going to have a field day. It's going to be awesome, and they've also got much longer ranges with their artillery. Range of 9. There's even one with a range of 14 in here. Typical range is 7. So we're going to be kicking some Heine any old tick of the clock. Once I sort of stabilize what's going on in here, I got to work out where the Germans are going to go before I start trying to punch back. One of the challenges with the Yanks is if they go too early. Then these weaker units can be degraded pretty quickly, because they drop down to a 1-3-10, right? So they lose 2/3 of their combat effectiveness as an attacking unit anyway. So not good. All right, so that's kind of what's going on. We'll keep playing. I think we're actually I've just got to do US supply. So I've cocked all the units that are out of supply. So I think that's it. So we're going to move on to turn 4, which will be the, what did I say? That'll make it the 19th of December. I'll make a little note here. And we will move on to turn 4 and talk to you soon.